Good morning and welcome to On the Mark. It's very special On the Mark. With all this going on, with all the hurricanes, good gracious, I definitely wanted to check in with a longtime friend slash colleague in the business, author, radio host, media expert, thought leader, Paul Porter, who is actually in Florida, undisclosed location. But Paul, how are you? Welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Man, good, man. How you, Mark?
Paul, I was
Went
thinking.
through it last night.
I was thinking about you,
Go ahead.
man. I'm sure you got a million calls. Everybody knows you're in Florida. Everybody knows you have a station in Florida. So, man, Paul, tell us, as somebody with boots on the ground, what the hell's going on? How you doing? How's everybody doing? What's going on?
Well, the good thing about a hurricane is that you watch the news, and it's a lot different when you're in the vicinity of where they're talking about. Like when you were watching the news the last 4 or 5 days, you knew the storm wasn't coming near you. But watching it when you're here is tedious at best because, you hear everything from 150-mile-per-hour winds to 30-mile-per-hour winds. But anyway, we went through it last night. Some trees are down. The power was off for about 9 hours. The water's still off. I got a backup generator. But, I came out pretty cool.
And Paul,
Pretty cool.
were you now, my father-in-law is a unity minister and he believes in the power of words. And he was a bit miffed at how they kept giving so much powerful, destructive titles to the hurricanes, believing that the more destructive you describe them as, the more destructive they are. As someone who's actually, like you said, in the eye of the storm, were you okay with the coverage? Did it seem a little bit overdone? What was your take on the coverage?
No, man. To me, it's always overdone. I heard one of the guys on CNN, as soon as I turned on the television yesterday, the first thing he said was, America, this is the worst storm that you'll ever face. So, I hear stuff like that. And when they overhype it, then I'm always thinking it's not going to happen. So it didn't happen like they said it was, but it never does.
Yeah, and I think maybe because we're old school, Paul, we kind of saw it shift on coverage. Like weather's a big deal because it gets ratings. So now they'll even hype up things before it even happens, And so I think we probably hear it differently than younger people because we remember when they didn't really do that.
Yeah, now that's breaking news all day. So I'm straight. I'm glad, everything turned out all right. And for the most part, everybody's safe and sound.
We're talking to Paul Porter. So, Paul, tell us, man, I interviewed you earlier this year. Your book launch was highly successful. You made the rounds on CNN and all the C-SPAN. In fact, I think this week. Tell us about the book, man.
Hey, the book's doing real well. Matter of fact, the last thing, it's on C-SPAN 2 on Book TV. Did a 90-minute panel, the one that you missed a couple of weeks ago in D.C. at Us Boys and Poets. And that aired twice on Sunday. Once for the left coast and 7 p.m. Sunday evening, but it's up on the website, and it's a great panel that talks about the book in depth. Got some good guys on the panel, and I'm happy. blackoutthebook.com is where you get it, so I'm happy how it's doing. And Book TV gave me a chance to reach a whole new audience.
Yeah, man.
The real booksters watch Book TV, and I'm getting a lot of tweets and a lot of follows and stuff like that. So I know it's working. Plus, I could see the book went up like 800,000 and ranking every time it plays. So people buy books, that's for sure.
Once they saw your handsome face and your deep, rich voice, man, it changed the book world, man. So once again, where do they buy the book?
blackoutthebook.com.
blackoutthebook.com.
And there's a Facebook page too, Blackout the Book, and you can find out everything there.
Paul,
some testimonials, what the book's about. That's all.
Thank you, my friend. Well, Paul, be safe, my man. I'll keep in contact. Paul Porter joining us on the Mark.
You know what I tell everybody, man, Mark, when they were calling, everybody would call, hey, let me know if you need anything. What's going on there? And I would say, oh man, I'm just out catching fish with my teeth. And people be like, what? You know, I figured that's sort of macho. So yeah, I'm macho there.
Yeah, and
All right.
also,
Thank you, bro.
what Paul needs you to do is get that book, Black Out the Book, which is a great read, by the way. Thanks, Paul, man. Be good. Paul
All right.
Porter.
Thank you.
Paul
All
Porter
right.
joining us on the Mark. I thought we'd touch base with Paul to kick things off because, again, our prayers and our thoughts and our loves going out to all those who are suffering, those who have lost their lives, those who are without power, those who are without food and water, man. Shouts and praises going out to all those who are suffering. And please keep it positive. If you have friends, send them something. I'm sure at this point we're still kind of wrapping up the end of it, but I'm sure now is when the work begins. The rebuilding, making things right. I'm sure some people may even have to put up friends and family as they get their houses renovated and getting taken care of. So definitely on our minds, with all the destruction. And it is, for those who don't, including our president, who don't believe in what's going on with the climate, it's pretty crazy. I mean, just like storm after storm makes you wonder what is going on. And I know that a lot of the experts talk about they talk about the environmental factors, from the temperature of our large bodies of water to the temperature on our polar caps, really affecting all of this. So again, prayers going out to all those people. Well, what's going on is Monday. Had a crazy weekend. We had a family situation that ended in a resolution, which is always great. And what I kind of learned, I think a lot of times it was families, when you have something that is an issue, I notice either you have people who emotionally can't handle going through the rough patch, because they're going, without struggle, there's no progress. So you're going to get to the point where you have to confront the situation. And that's when I think families lose it, because we're so emotionally attached to whatever the thing is that people cannot really clearly hear or see. So this weekend was a blessing because we had a situation like that with a family members, if you will. And we got through the rough patch. And I think the resolution will make us stronger. And I was like, everybody brings their thing to the table. And if you allow family members to use their thing, it can really work. I think when it fails is when you have one person who dominates these kind of moments, and then people end up, with their feelings hurt and pissed off because they didn't really get to contribute, and they really didn't get to help. So in our situation, it's funny. Allison doesn't like conflict. I don't mind conflict. And I think we worked as a team. It was perfect because when she got shaky, when it was getting kind of loud and whatever, but she trusted me because we've been married for 17 years to kind of keep it in control, because I can do that. Even though I sound crazy, I can keep it in control. It was perfect. Jim Harrison, my old roommate. What's going on, buddy? Nicole, Sherry, what's going on? Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. So it happened, and it was great. And I was like, you know what? That's what teamwork's about. And most of the time when you have an issue with your friend or family, it always is about communication. And one party or both parties feeling underappreciated, disrespected, feeling like they don't have a say, feeling like they're being manipulated, feeling like they're not getting credit to what they contribute. All these things are usually, when it comes to friendship and family, this was what's happened. Also, a communication situation. A lot of times, we may think something is one way and it's totally the other. And when you don't have access, or you're not privy to information, it's a recipe for disaster. Because you start projecting on, oh, well, what about this? Or maybe it was that. And you can just be totally wrong. You can just be totally wrong, and you think you're totally right, and you're wrong. Okay, so now, I wanted to share with you today, actually not today, I tried it before, but this one of the challenges for our vegetarian slash vegan people, one of the challenges, I'm smelling because I'm trying, sounds like something's burning. One of the challenges is that the burgers that they make don't really taste great, or there's a lot of soy in it, and the that becomes a challenge because soy, if you don't know, soy is not the best as far as there's studies that show soy products, especially those that aren't fermented, are actually they act as estrogen. And so guys, nobody wants that. For guys, no. Estrogen is bad. And for girls, it's bad too. And so, there's these products out here that are pretty good. One, Beyond Meat, pow! The Burger Beyond. As you can see, it looks like real beef. It looks like real beef. It's got 20 grams of plant protein, no soy, no gluten, GMO free, Beyond the Burger. Pretty tasty. And here it is. This is how it looks prepared. Now it's a little red. It's a little red in color. But it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Beyond Meat. Check it out. If for those who are trying to get away from meat. See, Jim said, visited my daughter at Southern Mississippi University over the weekend. They played Southern Jaguars out of Baton Rouge. Blowout, but not the point. Both schools had their bands. Yes. You got to, at a halftime, the best experience in many years, played God Bless America. Yes, Jim, welcome to that Southern tradition. Those bands at halftime, player. Yes. Amazing. Much different than our experience at Southern Illinois University. Yeah, that's a halftime tradition, baby. And shout out to your daughter at Southern Mississippi University. Man, just think. Jim and I are roommates at Southern Illinois University. Both of us transferred in as juniors. Both of us were focused. Jim had a cool philosophy about engineering. Jim was like, I'm going to get into marketing, but I'm going to get my degree in engineering, because when you get a degree in engineering, you can do anything. It tells the companies that you can do anything. And obviously, if I know engineering and I'm in marketing for a company that's an engineering firm, they know that I know what an engineer knows. Brilliant move. And guess what? It worked out perfectly. Same thing with me. I transferred in as a junior. Wanted to go into radio television. So, I transfer in. I was working at a radio station when I came, but sure enough, first quarter at SIU Carbondale, I got on at the student radio station. I met Olivia Fox. Shout out to Olivia Fox, a lifelong friend. I got on at the TV station, the student TV news program, and I also got on at WCIL, my first on-air commercial radio job behind the mic. All that happened within the first quarter of going. So I think me and Jim represented the junior college focus deal. Did 2 years in junior college, 2 years in 4-year colleges. Boom, it's done. And we blew up all the stigmas. There's a lot of stigmas attached to back then, especially to junior college students. I think a lot of people look at it. I remember the jokes were, oh man, junior college is like high school. It is. It can be, or it can be the stepping stone to where you want to go. It just depends on what you want to do with it. And that is my final, my final observation today for the On the Mark podcast is, don't let other people's view of anything shape your view. You have to experience it yourself. I remember in school, now I wasn't the best student because I wasn't focused. I mean, I wasn't focused on grades. I was focused on activities, socializing. I knew I wanted to do radio, so I looked at it like I don't have to have great grades. That was stupid. But one thing I didn't do was fall into the trap of, how kids will say, oh, that teacher's so hard, or this class is so difficult, or this teacher's a jerk. Nah, I got to find it out for myself. Let your own experience guide you. Don't, especially young people or people who are not achieving anything. You know what I'm saying? you got to experience it yourself, because a lot of times their judgment was based on who they are, not who you are. You got to learn it for yourself, you know. And like I said, with the junior college piece, a lot of people cracked on junior college, but looking back, those people didn't go to college. You know what I mean? Or they did not have the same experiences. Like, you know, in my, I guess, upscale community now, when I say junior college, a lot of people kind of frown because, again, a lot of people weren't in the situation where they had to go. You know, they kind of almost look down at it because it's like, oh, that's where certain people go. For me, it's what I had to do. So I did 2 years of junior college, 2 years of my 4-year college. When I arrived as a junior in my 4-year college, what I realized was a lot of the kids weren't focused. A lot of the kids that were in radio television, they weren't participating on real radio stations. They weren't participating on the student stations. They weren't involved in activities. They were just kind of like partying on the weekends, and I focused on school. Whereas when I came in with a goal and a purpose, and it served me, and I got the most out of it that I could. I could have been a better student, but I got the most out of the experience to set me up for my profession. And so that's why I rarely base my opinion on anything or even on people based on somebody else's opinion, because your experience will be totally different. The other person could have a issue with the person, or the other person may not be the best communicator themselves. You know, that's the other thing. A lot of times you really can't, you know, somebody else can't really represent for you. And I will say, as the only child, I've learned that early on, and it served me well because, you know, a lot of people use their friends and their family and their crew to insulate them from experiences. And that kind of works against you, because when you get out here in this world, it is you. You know what I mean? It's you. It's you. Your friends can't save you. Your family can't save you. You live this life, and you have to figure it out. And so the more you have around you, a lot of times acts as insulation that doesn't really get you to the real root of things. So that's my point on that. And then lastly, Cherie, good point. Cherie had wished me a peace-filled 9/11. And man, you know what? I totally forgot that it was 9/11. And again, peace and blessings, and shout out to all those who lost people, those people we lost. The whole situation with 9/11 will, of course, is unforgettable. And 9/11 for me, what happened with me was, you know, my father-in-law, I always speak about my father-in-law because he's kind of like old religious sage for me, and one of the smartest guys I know. And also, from my religious standpoint, he kind of added some clarity for me. When 9/11 happened, my father-in-law always says, there is no death, only life. And that in his experience, how he looks at it is, we are all learning. We have many lifetimes. We don't die. The physical body dies, but your energy doesn't die. You have many lifetimes, and you learn every lifetime, which you didn't learn in the previous lifetime. And then as you finally learned everything, you ascend, like the example of Jesus did. And when 9/11 happened, for me, that confirmed that for me. Why? So you're going to get some coffee, talking to your friend, and then in the seconds, thousands of people are dead. That for me, again, was like, there's no death. You know, it's like when you see a baby get killed, just a senseless act. Errant bullet, gets hit by a train, whatever. It's a baby who has not even lived a second. For me, I don't believe there's death. I believe that spirit, that example, that situation that happened becomes a learning lesson for somebody else. You know what I mean? For us even 9/11, how we looked at 9/11. Is 9/11 even what they say it is? I don't know. I don't know if I even believe that. But that's my thought. That's my take. That's my observation. And again, I'm not asking you to believe the same, because I know that may be controversial, but that's where I am with that. But thanks so much for everybody who watched. And On the Mark will be, it'll be up on archerpine.com. And I'll be doing this, you know, daily. during the week, and it'll feature from artists to me talking to points of view and interacting with you. So thanks so much, and have a great day, everybody. It's Monday. You know, sometimes we regret Monday, or we don't look forward for Monday. Let's embrace Monday and let it be the first opportunity of the week to do something you said you were going to do. Let's start today. Have a good one. Peace.